Hey everyone, let's talk about something we all do every single day, eat. But have you ever really stopped to think about the hidden story behind the food on your plate? It turns out there's a powerful connection between what we eat and the health of our entire planet. And it all starts with one pretty staggering number.
Okay, let's start with this. 42%. What is that? Well, that's the percentage of adults in the US who now meet the threshold for obesity. And this isn't just an American issue, not by a long shot. It's gone global. The rate of obesity has literally more than doubled across the world since 1975, creating a massive public health crisis pretty much everywhere.
So, what on earth is going on? What's the main driver behind this? Well, a huge part of the problem comes down to something called ultra-processed foods, or UPFs for short. Now, these aren't just your regular processed foods. Think less kitchen, more chemistry lab. They're industrial formulas. And, the research is becoming undeniable. The more of this stuff we eat, the more we see chronic conditions like diabetes and obesity skyrocket.
It's a pretty grim picture, right? So it's really no surprise that millions of people are looking for ways to push back, to try and get some control over their own health. This has kicked off a huge surge in all sorts of dietary strategies and lifestyle changes. But which ones are people actually turning to?
You've almost certainly heard of this one. One of the most popular approaches out there right now is intermittent fasting, or IF. The basic idea is actually super simple. It's not about what you eat, but when you eat. By cycling between periods of eating and fasting, people are aiming for all sorts of benefits, from better health and fitness to even sharper mental clarity.
So let's just quickly break down the two ways most people do it. You've got the 16-8 method, which is pretty straightforward. You just fit all your meals into an 8-hour window every day, and then you fast for the other 16 hours. Then there's the 5-2 approach. With this one, you eat normally for 5 days of the week, and then on 2 days that aren't back-to-back, you cut your calories way down.
And for a lot of people, this isn't just some fad diet they try for a month. I mean, check out this quote from a user on Reddit. 6 years of maintaining results. That is a long time. It's a pretty powerful reminder that when people find a method that really works with their life, it can stick around for good.
Okay, so we've established that when we eat can make a real difference. But that's really only one part of the equation, isn't it? It kind of brings up an even bigger question. What about the actual food itself? What are we putting on our plates during those eating windows?
And when you put the two options side by side, the contrast is, well, it's stark. A diet that's heavy on those ultra-processed foods is linked to more chronic disease, it's often lacking in the crucial micronutrients our bodies desperately need, and it has a really high environmental cost. On the flip side, a whole food plant-based diet, it's associated with a lower risk of disease, it's packed with nutrients, and its footprint on the planet is so much smaller.
And the consequences of our current dominant diet? They are absolutely staggering. The estimated global cost each year, when you add up healthcare, environmental damage, everything, is a massive $10 trillion. That's a cost that all of us are bearing, tied directly to the system that produces our food.
To really understand why these foods are absolutely everywhere, we need to zoom out. We have to look at the massive engine that's running the whole show, the modern industrial food system.
So this system is basically built for efficiency. It prioritizes getting the highest yield possible above everything else. And that's led to some major problems. For one, there's a shocking lack of diversity. Get this, just 9 plants make up 2/3 of all crop production on the entire planet. This monocropping then relies heavily on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, which contribute to CO2 emissions, pollute our water, and cause a devastating loss of biodiversity. And most importantly, this system is perfectly designed to churn out the cheap, storable ingredients that are the backbone of all those UPFs.
And just to put the environmental impact into perspective, think about this. Meat and dairy production alone, which is a huge part of the industrial model, accounts for half of all greenhouse gas emissions from the food sector, and it uses a staggering 80% of all farmland. 80%! That's just wild.
Okay, but what's the alternative? Is there another way? Well, there's a growing movement that's looking not just to sustain what we have, but to actively heal and improve our farmland. And this brings us to the promise of regenerative agriculture. So what is regenerative agriculture really? At its heart, it's a way of farming that works with nature, not against it. The goal isn't just to take things from the soil, but to rebuild it, to make it healthier and more resilient. And when you do that, the soil itself becomes a powerful tool for fighting climate change and bringing back biodiversity.
And here's the really cool part. This approach creates this amazing positive feedback loop. It all starts with practices that bring the soil back to life. That healthy soil then produces crops that are much more nutrient-rich,
When we eat that nutritious food, our own health improves. And as more of us demand this kind of food, it encourages more farmers to adopt these regenerative practices. It's a win-win.
Alan Savory, who is a huge figure in this movement, really captures the ultimate vision perfectly. He talks about a future built on adequate nutritious food and clean water, on a foundation of regenerating soils and biologically diverse communities. I mean, doesn't that just sound like a world we all want to live in?
So after looking at these huge global systems and the health of the soil itself, it all comes back to something much, much closer to home, the power that each of us holds as an individual, the power of your fork.
There's this key concept here called choice architecture. It's basically the idea that our environment quietly shapes the decisions we make. So instead of just putting all the pressure on individual willpower, the goal is to redesign our surroundings, our homes, our schools, our grocery stores, so that the healthiest, most sustainable option becomes the easiest one, the default choice.
And we can all be the architects of that change. It can start with simple swaps like choosing whole foods over ultra-processed ones. It grows when we support our local farmers at the market. And it becomes truly systemic when we advocate for things like farm-to-school programs that bring fresh, local food into our institutions. But honestly, the most powerful step is just understanding that deep connection between how our food is grown and how we feel.
Which leaves us with this one final thought to chew on. We've seen the problem, from our own personal health all the way to the health of the entire planet. We've seen the systems that are driving it, and we've also seen that there is a potential path forward. So, the question for all of us is this. If our food system is fundamentally broken, can the small choices we make every single day truly be part of the fix?